All right, good morning, my friends. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, coming into the FOMC announcement week. We do have the FOMC meeting starting today, and then we'll have the announcement tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see what the market does here, but we're going to jump back and take a look. I didn't have a broadcast yesterday, so we want to go back and take a look at what happened on Friday, and we'll look at what happened yesterday on Monday. So coming into Friday's market, we had clues for the bulls from the lows. So just FYI, I told you guys that somewhere right in this pocket here, around 54.28 to 38-ish, that was a major area of support in the market that I expected the bulls to try and defend. And sure enough, there's the major low. And as we came into the market on Friday morning, we had a number of good bullish clues on the higher time frames from that low of that week. So coming into Friday, the expectation was for the bulls to try to continue to push, unless of course price could not hold above some of the key roadmap levels on the chart. And sure enough, this is how the market opened here. It opened and held at the top end of our VWAP, right? So coming out of the open on Friday of last week, we dipped down below, and if you really look at it, it came down through our roadmap level and then kissed it on the back end, almost like the bears were going to continue to pull that back, and then they recovered, the bulls recovered right back through, and then you had beautiful opportunities to buy that VWAP, again, to the tick, so there wasn't even any risk. So right off VWAP, right off VWAP, right off VWAP, and then you can see it took a little bit of time. They ducked right through VWAP a little bit, tested it almost to the tick again. And then finally, they came down and threw everyone a curveball. It almost looked like this was going to be maybe a little fake out for the bulls there and then drop it all the way back down to the lows of the morning. But sure enough, they defended the Hopel and the first major scaffolding level at 54.73 there. And then that began the bounce. So as you can see out of the open, some good holds around VWAP, a deeper pullback right to the next expected support area, breaking it by less than 2 points, holding that Hopel, and then we get this beautiful launch out. As you can see, there was trouble in the morning as well, right around that previous or 50% of the day before, kind of petered out and then finally broke out through it, came back, kissed it to the tick. Obviously some trouble here around the next roadmap level, and then got through that, pulled back, kissed that within a couple ticks, and then we got continuation to the upside at least throughout the morning there. So holding the FMA all the way up, came back and almost tagged into the 200 on those pullbacks, and then finally got up through the next roadmap level, pulled back, gave it a kiss, and pushed right up to the next area. And that was, I believe, the high of the day was our roadmap level within 2 or 3 ticks. So low of the day, roadmap level here, again breaking it less than 2 points. It was just a couple ticks through, pushes all the way up, stair steps up, again pulls back to each level and steps up off of it. Missed this one by about 2 ticks, and then come right to the next roadmap level, makes a high of the day. And then we get the sell-off, and from there you get your first tag of the 200 there for a fade opportunity. That would have given you at least a 5, 6, 7 point push right to the next expected support area, which is exactly where they found their first bounce. So you got an opportunity there. And then you can see an attempt to try to break out, basically holding right around the 50% retrace there, or I guess the 38 retrace. And then you get the next extension down, holding the back end of the 200, coming down. And what do you know? The next major roadmap level becomes a very significant support, and on the bounce, the roadmap level above becomes a significant resistance. Comes back down, we get a little bit, see that's a little too far for me if I was in that trade. So I think it was just about 3 points, 4 points, a little bit too much for my risk, but then comes right back up, and actually at the end of the day, closes right inside the chop range. And I forgot that when I advance up here, we get to the next day's roadmap level. So unfortunately, those two did not tag the 50, but that last one at the end of the day got the tag, right? So let's go ahead and jump to the Monday's market. So here's the Sunday Globex session. I'm trying to move as quick as possible here, so apologize. But we get the push out on Sunday's Globex session. There's a pullback right to the VWAP there. If you look, you zoom all the way in, we got the launch out of the open on Sunday's Globex right off the 200, pulls back, holds the VWAP, pulls back, holds the VWAP, no risk, and you would have got this beautiful launch out. How many times have I told you, if you just buy the test of the VWAP on the top end or the bottom end, you sometimes will catch the whole move. And it seems like multiple times a week we see that happen. So here's another example coming into the beginning of this week. They launch it right up to the previous daily high. Right? I think that's, yeah, previous daily high. And then we get this ping pong back and forth between the FMA and our roadmap level at 55.27, only to fail out and tag the back end of the roadmap level and the VWAP, come on down a little lower. There was even a little bounce to the tick off the 200 there, if you look, and a hold off the back end of it. Got a little messy there, and I don't think we had the Hopal on there at that moment, right? So this is how it looked in the overnight on Sunday. Finally, the roadmap level, the Hopal prints. We get this push up, hold off the FMA, hold off the FMA, comes to the next roadmap level, right? We first tested the first roadmap level on the upside, got through that, came right to the next one, got a typical peak above and fail with bearish divergence, with bearish divergence right off that high. Got the pullback from it. There's just another example of pushing all night, coming right to the next roadmap level, getting a very beautiful peak above and fail off of it, leading to the pullback into Monday's open. And on Monday, we had clues for a potential pullback off of the highs of the previous week. So that's what we were expecting, potential for a pullback. And then as you guys saw on Monday, yesterday, pretty choppy market. So we're just going to look at this, zoom it out a little bit, and just look at the most notable rotations, because I'm running out of time here. And as you can see, beautiful pullback out of the open. Could not really get much past the first roadmap level. Comes up, tags the major scaffolding to the tick. No risk there. Get the pullback. And like I said, it was choppy. So I'm just pointing out some of the notable rotations. Almost bounced off the roadmap level again. Tried to get up through the scaffolding. Didn't have enough strength. And then what happened? We get the pullback. And then the tag, the kiss right off the back end of the roadmap level, just like it did earlier. And then the pullback and the kiss off the VWAP. And then again, right back to the roadmap level with a peak below and bounce to come up and give a nice, beautiful kiss off the next roadmap level, which was Hopal. And then down right to the next roadmap level for the next bounce. And then you can see, tried to hold above the 200, failed back down. Chop back and forth between FMA and the roadmap level, and then they came on down. And let me zoom this out a little bit. Came on down to hold the back end of the 200 and tag right into 50% of the day before. And notice right around 50% of the day before is about as far as the bears would get before the major bounce at the end of the day on yesterday. So they could barely hold down below 50% of the previous day. You can see they ducked down at 5-6 points through, and then they came right back out. And on the way out, we got the stair step up the roadmap level. So the first was right there. You can't see it. I could zoom in, but then it holds the roadmap level, pulls back, gets through it, comes down, tags it to the tick, comes through the next one, pulls back, holds that to the tick, finds some trouble around the Hopal again, pulls back, and tries to hold above the scaffolding. And as you can see, super choppy through here, but holding the 200 and the scaffolding, chopping around, peek through, and then we get this pullback towards the end of the day. So on this pullback, guys, this is the very setup I talk about all the time. We make a high in the market, it starts to fail out, we get momentum to the downside, we get our crossover, and there's your first tag of the 200 for another nearly zero risk and then you could have got yourself easily over 10 points to the downside, right to the next roadmap level, where, what do you know, they bounce one tick in front to finish the day out. I believe that's how the day finished. Yeah, so it just bounced off the next roadmap level, 2 ticks in front, and we get another step up the roadmap levels. There's the tag to the tick, there's the VWAP, and then right at the end of the day, just chops around over in here, but still holding that roadmap level nearly to the tick. So that concludes our review for the last couple days. It brings us now into yesterday's Globex session, which brings us into our pre-market here this morning. Once again, they hold the back end of the VWAP to come down, hold it again, and tag into the next roadmap level here with a beautiful peak below and bounce formation, bullish divergence. And now there's the tag of the VWAP, pull back to the FMA, push through the 200, holds the 200 to the tick, gets up through the next roadmap level, comes back and kisses it to the tick. We get a little bit of a push up, pulls back, kisses it to the tick, pulls back, kisses it to the tick. And now here we are trying to hold up through that roadmap level there at 04 and up above 50% of yesterday. So that concludes the review. Again, unlimited amount of rotations off these areas with very limited risk. In many cases, quite literally stepping up the roadmap levels to the tick and stepping down the roadmap levels to the tick in the bullish and bearish movement. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames now. See what they're saying as we come into Tuesday here and come into the first day of the FOMC meeting.